All right, guys, we're going to start the show soon. Obviously, the Scott Beardsley news is the hot topic on today's program. So take a look at the screen for today's headlines, and we'll get rocking and rolling on the program here in a matter of moments. We are public again on the Facebook page, JDub, so thank you very much on that. Like and share the show. It's going to be a conversational show. We encourage you, the viewer and listener, to join us in the discussion. I think I don't know how you feel about this, Judah, but I think we're just at the tip of the iceberg with what's coming with this Virginia, the UVA news with naming a new president.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, the hypocrites haven't fully come out of the woodwork yet, so we got plenty more coming.
Oh, those fighting words from Judah Wickhauer. Why do you say the hypocrites haven't come fully out of the woodwork?
Because the commentary I've seen on it is just deranged. I mean, we've got the exact same search firm that found Jim Ryan. We've got people complaining about not having a full board when it was the Democrats that caused the situation we're in right now in terms of board composition by not putting through Youngkin's appointments. It's just.
No commentary on the timing, no commentary on and I'm just, for the sake of a talk show, having this conversation with you, no commentary on the fact that folks are saying that this was bottom of the ninth inning fast-tracked before Spanberger gets into office with a BOV that may not be fully legitimate.
That may be partially true, but if the roles were reversed, they would not be saying that. I can 100% guarantee that. And are they really saying that the search firm did a great job on Jim Ryan, but did a horrible job on the pick of Beardsley? And are they really complaining about him as a pick for president?
Yeah, there's.
I feel like I feel like all of this outrage is cherry picked because I don't know, because they want a hand at the steering wheel. Like, get over it.
We'll have the conversation on the program today. Like and share the show, viewers and listeners. Like and share the show. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Search the I Love CVille network on YouTube, and do us a favor and subscribe to our channel. If you have comments, put them in the feed. We'll relay them live on air. I do believe this is the tip of the iceberg with the Scott Beardsley news. I think we're going to have a significant fallout from this Beardsley news, and this is again just going to be just the beginning. He is the 10th president of the University of Virginia, and his term begins on January 1. A lot we're going to cover. Like and share the show. We can begin the program, Judah, when you're ready.
Quiet on the set.
Welcome to the I Love CVille show, guys. My name is Jerry Miller. Thank you kindly for joining us a Monday afternoon in downtown Charlottesville. I think today's program has the opportunity to paper the news cycle trail. I think it's potentially a significant show, historical show for us as we respond and react to the Scott Beardsley news, the 10th president, University of Virginia history. His credentials and his resume speak for themselves. They are reputable. They are noteworthy. Beardsley's resume, credentials, work experience in the public sector, the private sector, educational sector, they justify this kind of hire, this kind of significance, being the 10th president at one of the most prestigious and prominent universities in the world. I mean, in the world. I mean, let's cut to the chase here. I want to unpack this question. Was the timing of the Beardsley hire appropriate, and is what some are calling the bottom of the ninth inning hire of Beardsley the reason the fallout so far has been so negative and significant? And when highlighting that fallout, the collateral damage of the Beardsley hire, do we expect a strike come second semester from UVA faculty? Do we expect come second semester a protest on grounds at the University of Virginia from faculty, from stakeholders and activists? Do we anticipate Board of Visitors members resigning? I'm being told by my sources, and my sources, viewers and listeners, the video and the tape does not lie. Our sources 2 weeks ago said a president was going to be hired this past Friday. We did not know who the president was, but 2 weeks ago on this show, I said a president was going to be hired this past Friday, December 19th. Those sources were right. Now I'm hearing from the same people that Board of Visitors members are on the cusp of resigning because they anticipate if they don't resign, being fired or pink-slipped by Governor-elect Abigail Spanberger. And that's a perfect segue into what the governor-elect is going to do. Is she going to clean house with the Board of Visitors, a BOV that some say is not legitimate? You'll explain to the viewers and listeners why, specifically, some say the BOV is not legitimate. It's tied to board members. It's tied to members that are Virginians. You would give the nitty-gritty specifically of why people are saying that. J-Dubs, have that in front of you. So there's a lot to unpack on the show. I need to get a couple of items out of the notebook first. On Friday's show, we talked about AstraZeneca and the $4.5 billion investment into Albemarle County. The publicly traded company AstraZeneca is building its headquarters in Albemarle County. It's going to have 600 direct hires, $125,000 average salary, 3,000 indirect jobs. And this is just the tip of the iceberg with how biotechnology is going to revolutionize Albemarle County, the city of Charlottesville, Central Virginia. Governor Youngkin said there will be a biotechnology beltway from Rockingham County to Richmond. Remember, Eli Lilly is investing billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars into Goochland County, one of the neighboring counties to Charlottesville and Albemarle. I want to clarify, on Friday, I said the Albemarle County Board of Supervisors knew about AstraZeneca this spring. After speaking with the board, I misspoke. The Albemarle County Board of Supervisors did not know. Corresponding with Supervisor Ned Galloway, who's about to start his third term, friend of the program, a man who's just good people. Our politics might not always align, but he's a good man. The supervisors did not know about AstraZeneca as of this spring. So that shows you how quickly a governor like Glenn Youngkin can get a publicly traded company of worldwide significance to invest $4.5 billion into Albemarle County. So point of clarification there. We also need to talk Michael Payne, the Charlottesville City Councilor, who is now making City Hall, Sam Sanders, and staff look really badly right now by calling out City Hall staff and Sam Sanders for integrating artificial intelligence technology into the parking garages on Water Street and Market Street that the city uses to funnel tourists, locals, and students to the epicenter of Central Virginia, the downtown mall. This AI technology is very concerning for all of us because it centralizes data and creates a potential breach or vulnerability of credit cards, license plates, our vehicles, makes and models, our traffic patterns, our times in and out of the garage, and the fact that the management companies at Metropolis openly says that we will sell your data to advertisers. So Payne is calling out City Hall for implementing that technology, that topic on today's show. We are locked and loaded, ladies and gentlemen, with a hell of a lot of content on the water cooler of content and conversation, the I Love CVille show. We'll give some love to Charlottesville Sanitary Supply. 61 years in business, Charlottesville Sanitary Supply. The Vermillion family is 5 generations strong in Albemarle County. The Vermillion family has owned this business, Charlottesville Sanitary Supply, which is located on East High Street, and online at charlottesvillesanitarysupply.com. And they've done business in a way that's honest and rich with character and integrity and communication and education. They have an e-commerce platform that can get you your sanitary supply needs the day of, free in-market delivery. There's not a big box store or a big box online platform that can do what Charlottesville Sanitary Supply can do from a price point and a delivery standpoint. Keep your dollars local and check out their new sister company, Charlottesville Pool Company, Charlottesville Swimming Pool Company, online at charlottesvilleswimmingpoolcompany.com. Studio camera Judah Wickower, and then two-shot Judah Wickower. By now you know that Scott Beardsley, the Darden Dean, is the 10th president in UVA history. This was an announcement made on Friday afternoon, an announcement, again, I know I'm tooting our horn here, but we told you that this was going to happen before the Washington Post did, before the Richmond Times-Dispatch did. 2 weeks ago, we let you know that this hire was going to be made on December 19th. That's why you watch and listen to the show. Okay? Beardsley, I'm gonna be on record saying this. We've now made a LinkedIn connection this morning, confirmed on LinkedIn. DMs back and forth right now. He is qualified. He is a fundraiser. He is a man with experience in the private sector.
Yeah.
He is a man with experience in education. He is a politically neutral candidate. He is a capable leader. He is capable in 2025, soon to be 2026, of embodying all the skill sets needed to be a president of a school of this magnitude and significance. And that's probably in this order, a neutral face of the brand, a neutral pitchman and spokesman and face of the brand, number one. Number two, fundraising. Number three, capable of navigating student dynamic, faculty dynamic, donor dynamic, alumni dynamic, dean dynamic. He's versatile. And lastly, and very importantly, he is neutral in past crisis or controversy and ideology. I celebrate and champion the Beardsley hire. I think this hire, and I'll catch some flack for this, was a hire that was done with reasonable mindset, with a hiring firm that has already been monikered and dubbed the kingmakers of university and college presidents. That hiring firm is?
Isaacson Miller.
5-6 months they've spent on this hire. Plenty of runway, ladies and gentlemen, to hire this president. The reason that this hire is catching negative attention and the reason that this hire is going to create significant collateral damage is the following. Are you ready for this? Mm-hmm. Left-leaning alumni, left-leaning faculty, and left-leaning folks that have zero ties to the University of Virginia are labeling the Beardsley hire as a Donald Trump selection. The lightning rod that is our president, Donald Trump, one of the most divisive and lightning rod presidents in American history, period, maybe the most divisive. That lightning rod dynamic has trickled to Charlottesville and has either corrupted the mindset of left-leaning alumni, left-leaning faculty, left-leaning students, and left-leaning folks with zero ties to the university that they genuinely think that Trump has made this hire through intermediary Glenn Youngkin, through intermediary Rachel Sheridan, through intermediary Porter Wilkinson, the rector and vice rector, and through intermediary the Board of Visitors, who they are saying is not legitimate in any capacity. I will say this. The perception is that this hire was done in the bottom of the ninth inning with a full count, the last-ditch hope for a board who is arguably on its last legs, its second to last meeting before Spanberger takes office in January and, for all intents and purposes, nuclear bombs the Board of Visitors. Mm-hmm. If it was not for the timing, the bottom of the ninth inning, people would champion, celebrate, roll out the red carpet for Beardsley.
I don't think so.
Show is yours, my friend.
I think they would find something else to complain about. This is about politics. It's not about anything but politics. I don't think that there's a whole lot of honesty going on in people's dislike or distrust of Beardsley. I think it's maneuvering. I think it's posturing, and I'm kind of, it's funny. We've just heard this announcement for Scott Beardsley, and I'm already sick and tired of hearing about it. Not because he's a bad guy, not because of anything to do with him, but because I'm sick and tired of the politics that say that the same politics that put down the firm that found Beardsley, despite the fact it's the same firm that found Ryan, that puts down the timeline when, you've said it yourself, 6 months, like how we're supposed to wait for Abigail Spanberger because she's a great person. We're supposed to wait for her, because the board isn't full. I mean, it's politics. The reason the board doesn't have a full membership is because of politics. I'm just tired of it. It's hypocritical, and it's just exhausting.
A little bit of additional color and background for the viewers and listeners. We learned of this in researching for today's show. Scott Beardsley has a book from 2017, his book. And in this book called Higher Calling, Beardsley talks about his his entrance into higher education. In 2012, Beardsley applied for the job as president at Dartmouth College. Beardsley in 2012 did not get the job as president of Dartmouth College. Mm-hmm. He then reached out to the hiring firm who interviewed him. He was on the short list, Beardsley, for president of Dartmouth College after spending nearly 3 decades at the consulting firm McKinsey. On the short list for the Dartmouth College presidential job, he does not get hired. He does what any capable, qualified, intelligent individual who does not get a job does. He reaches out to the consulting firm and says, why didn't I get this job?
Yeah.
The consulting firm says you didn't get this job basically because you were not experienced enough in education to get the gig. The consulting firm that interviewed Beardsley for the Dartmouth College job in 2012 is the same consulting firm, Isaacson and Miller, that hired Beardsley for the UVA job 13 years later.
Yeah.
The haters of Beardsley are pointing to this and saying, hey, he had an inside track for the UVA job. It's this consulting firm in 2012 where he writes in his book, he reached out to asking for intelligence on how to make himself a more qualified candidate to get a future job as president. And that consulting firm told him to be a dean at a big business school, a premier business school, a president of a middle-tier liberal arts college, or to become a CFO or a COO of some kind of premier educational institution and climb the ladder that way. So Beardsley listens to the consulting firm Isaacson and Miller, who has been monikered the kingmaker of college presidents, UVA presidents, Isaacson and Miller, because they hire so many of them. They help hire so many of them. Mm-hmm. And he listens to the firm and he does just that. I'm going to go be the dean of the Darden School. Now, after working as the dean of the Darden School and gaining significant experience, fundraising, nuance when it comes to higher education. He gets the call to the major leagues. And the call to the major leagues is the UVA presidential gig. And now left-leaning faculty, left-leaning deans, left-leaning alumni, left-leaning donors, left-leaning activists who have zero ties to the university are pointing to this. He had an inside track for this job.
Absolutely bonkers. It is such a stupid long con. Really? He gets a job as somehow he worms his way into UVA and becomes the dean of the business school. And then I think he's one of the people who's been reinstalled in his job as a dean at UVA the most. I don't know the details. I didn't go to UVA, but he's had 3 terms as the dean of the business school, and now I mean, what is this? Is it some massive conspiracy that somebody knew all that time ago that there were going to be problems with Jim Ryan, and that someone was going and what? Is there a conspiracy to hire this group, Isaacson Miller, to find a president, and they just happened to talk with this guy? I mean, absolute derangement. It's nuts.
And the most important tidbit that left-leaning faculty, left-leaning alumni, left-leaning donors, left-leaning deans, and left-leaning activists with zero ties to the University of Virginia, the most important aspect of this long con, as Judah calls it, I think it's a great description. Isaacson and Miller hired Jim Ryan.
Yeah. So have they politically changed sides since then? And does that mean that we're labeling Jim Ryan as a Democrat, and so he belongs with the wonderful people at UVA, and Beardsley is not a Democrat, and so he is despicable? I mean, what is going on here? Can we look at this guy for the positives and negatives of him being in this job, instead of immediately hating him? Because I mean, looking at some of the social media about this guy, they're building him up like he's part of some. It's tiring. It's nuts.
Judah clearly aggravated and flabbergasted. I can understand why. We have print, radio, and television from Charlottesville and print from Richmond, Virginia, watching the program as we speak. Viewers and listeners, put your comments in the feed. I will relay them live on air. I see 11 different states on our heat map watching us right now on the I Love CVille show. Lower thirds to rotate on screen. This is the expectation. Our crystal ball has proven to be very correct. I literally have a crystal ball over here, and if I didn't break out the crystal ball of this box, in fact, I probably should. If you're not watching the program, you're missing the unveiling of the crystal ball, and boy, oh boy, is this heavy, Judah.
They are heavy.
Oh my gosh, I can't even get this out.
Don't drop it on your foot.
All right, here's the crystal ball. The crystal ball. Mm-hmm. Our crystal ball here has proven to be extremely accurate. We explained that this was going to happen this past Friday. Our crystal ball, I need to put this down, this is probably 10 to 15 pounds, is indicating that Board of Visitor members will now resign because they will likely be canned by Spanberger. The rector and the vice rector in particular are in the middle of professional careers, Sheridan and Wilkinson, and the smear campaign that they are about to endure,
are already enduring,
very well could tarnish professional verticality, futures, and their lines of work. Someone like Paul Manning, dude's a billionaire.
Yeah, he didn't care.
He's insulated, he's protected. He says, bring it on. Wilkinson and Sheridan, very much exposed to what's going to happen with Democrats and Spanberger when Spanberger, the governor-elect, becomes the governor.
Yeah.
Our crystal ball suggests resignations from the board. Yeah. Our crystal ball, we've been told, faculty meeting currently in the Senate and faculty low rung through the United Workers Organization, considering strikes at the University of Virginia and protest, angry, flabbergasted that this hire was made on the last day of finals at the University of Virginia, when most students were not at grounds at the University of Virginia, days before Christmas break.
I mean, let me ask, I'm sure a lot of our viewers have gone to UVA. Is that really a big consideration for UVA students, who the president is? I don't remember ever knowing who the president of a school was when I was going there.
I was there 2000 to 2004. The engagement, the news cycle today is significantly more amplified because of smartphones and social media than it was when I was there, when all we had was the print edition of the Cavalier Daily. That's the extent of what we had. And the print edition of the Cavalier Daily was nowhere near as robust or as investigative as it is today. The Cavalier Daily is leading the charge on a lot of this reporting. They have sources, well-placed sources, and they are a content creation machine. I'm on the Cavalier Daily Instagram page, and they're publishing stakeholder response to the Beardsley hiring. This from Faculty Senate Chair Jerry Seidman. I'm disappointed. I think that about captures my reaction to the appointment. This from Scott Beardsley. Together, we will advance scholarship, expand opportunity, and strengthen our contributions beyond the grounds. The path ahead is full of promise, and I look forward to the work we will do together. This from class of 2026 president and fourth-year college student, Kiani Vega. Beardsley should not accept the role, and he should ask for the search to be redone in the spring once the board is fully constituted and has been asked by the governor, the faculty senate, and repeated calls from students to do so. I am incredibly disappointed in the Board of Visitors continuing to act in secrecy when the university community and students are not here.
But it's not in secrecy. If I'm not mistaken, the board, not just the board, but the search for a new president involves not just the Board of Visitors, not just Isaacs and Miller, but the usual complement of people from both the faculty senate and the student population, as it always has.
The faculty senate and deans at the University of Virginia, many of them have penned a letter to the Board of Visitors saying, stop the presidential search.
Yeah.
They did paper the trail.
Okay, but
I want to take an aerial macro view on this.
Does anyone think they have a right? Is there something we're missing here?
I'm very curious of this, viewers and listeners, and get ready and giddy up. I'm very curious of this. Will Abigail Spanberger, when she is the governor of Virginia, will she say this was not a legitimate board because they didn't have the proper amount of Virginians on the board, nor did they have the right number of board members on the board? You have that data in front of us? What constitutes it a legitimate board? What are they saying?
I mean, well, they're missing 5 members, right? I mean, who cares what else they say? They're going to use that, but here are some key reasons why the board is in non-compliance. Why these allegations are popping up: lack of transparency and shared governance. Critics, including the student council and faculty senate, cite closed-door decisions. Blah blah blah. A search committee dominated by board members, violating UVA's traditions of involving students, faculty, and staff, which I don't think is correct. I think they have involved everyone they're supposed to be involved. Just because someone here or there wants to be involved themselves or wants more people to be involved, I don't think that's necessarily reason to call out the Board of Visitors. There's also the handling of federal inquiries. There's FOIA violations. There's board composition and politicization. I mean, they're basically just throwing everything at the wall and seeing what sticks. I don't really take any of this seriously, because we all know that if the roles were reversed, they would do the exact same thing that the board is doing, and the other side of the aisle would be haranguing them about their their handling of things.
Viewers and listeners are offering their comments. John Blair's photo on screen, number 2 in our family. Mr. Blair says, Jerry, Jim Ryan reappointed Scott Beardsley as Dean of the Darden School in 2024. I think that's a very relevant fact.
Yeah.
If Jim Ryan did a great job as president, then his reappointment of Beardsley to one of the 2 crown jewels at UVA speaks very loudly about Beardsley.
No doubt.
Here's the link to Beardsley's reappointment in 2024. Then he shares a link in the comments section of my personal LinkedIn. If you watch on LinkedIn, follow me on LinkedIn, search Jerry Miller, hit follow and connect. I'm sharing the link that John Blair shared on my personal LinkedIn in the comments section of my personal Facebook page. Search Jerry Miller on Facebook. I will come up. Follow me if Facebook's your preferred method. I will also share it on the I Love CVille Facebook page, facebook.com/I Love CVille if you'd like to follow it. And I'm going to share it in the thread of on Twitter that this show is airing live upon. If you watch on Twitter, follow me on Twitter /Jerry Miller now. I'm going to offer the following comments. Scott Beardsley, you see here on LinkedIn notifications. Can you look a little closely?
A little bit higher.
What does that say? Judah Wickara, read it to the viewers and listeners.
Oh, let's see. Hold on.
Scott C. Beardsley viewed your profile.
Believes watching the program as we speak. If you're viewing the profile, you're watching the program. You get the notifications on LinkedIn when someone's viewing your program. President Scott Beardsley, I guess he's president-elect. We support your hire, sir.
Yeah.
We support your hire. Now, I'm going to ask you very pointed questions, and then I'll get to more comments. Question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Does Scott Beardsley refuse the job? 30 seconds.
I think some people have suggested that he wait until February 1st. I think that would help at least ease over the fact that he's taking the job. But ultimately, I think some people are just not going to be happy with anything.
There's not a chance in HE double hockey sticks Scott Beardsley is going to refuse this job. Mark it down. Spamberger, through a nuclear-bombed Board of Visitors, would have to remove or fire Beardsley for him not to be on Cars Hill in the mansion. Mm-hmm. Beardsley is not going to refuse this job, nor should he. Next question I have for you is your rotating lower thirds on screen. This one is about faculty firing. Make sure you put that on screen. Faculty strike.
Faculty strike.
Will UVA faculty strike and protest come start of second semester?
Of course they will.
20 to 30 seconds, Judah Wickauer.
Of course they will. I mean, I don't think there's any. I don't think there's any. I don't think there will be any honor behind it. But of course they will. They will strike, and I think the board members will resign because why would you stick around for? Why would you stick around to be a whipping boy? For no good reason.
Viewers and listeners, if you thought the pro-Palestine pepper spraying protest was a bad look for the University of Virginia, when students and activists were pepper sprayed by the Virginia State Police on UVA grounds, if you thought that was a bad look for UVA, wait until you see what happens at the start of the second semester when overpaid and perhaps compensated at clips they should not be, and I'll catch heat for that, are stomping around grounds, complaining and protesting that Beardsley's the 10th president, instead of teaching the students that they're paid to lead and teach.
Yeah.
You want to see a bad look for the University of Virginia, you take some tenured professors, some assistant deans,
and have them hold the university hostage.
and have them hold the University of Virginia hostage while earning hundreds of thousands of dollars to teach students.
Yeah.
That's going to be the next chapter of this saga. And I'm curious to see if overpaid faculty I'll catch heat for that. Protesting and picketing on grounds instead of teaching students transitions into striking faculty that refuse to work.
Yeah, and the insane thing is that I think most of us, if we're being honest, know that if this whole process had been held back 2 months, Abigail Spanberger would have come in. We would have used Isaacson Miller as the search firm. They would have found 4 candidates. The top one would have been Scott Beardsley. They would have voted Scott Beardsley into office as the president of UVA, and everybody would be happy. Exact same outcome, but it would be under a different board and a different governor, and so now we're going to protest. It's dishonest, at the very least.
You're fired up today.
I'm sick and tired of this. It's nuts. I mean, what I just said, we would have had the exact same outcome if we had waited 2 months and nobody would bat an eye. But now they're acting like, everybody has like violated some code or treaty that is in place because what? There's no good reason.
Conan Owens' photo on screen, the owner of Surspedia, Central Virginia. Scott Beardsley is a great choice, Conan says. He's been working with UVA leadership for over a decade. Mm-hmm. He has a vision. He made the forum happen, worked the Darden alumni at IHG to make it happen. Scott Beardsley can raise money so UVA doesn't have to rely on federal money. Scott Beardsley knows how to raise the school's reputation. One of my best friends from Darden is Rob Reiner, liberal, and has known Beardsley since undergrad, and tells me he is a great leader and man of character. That's good enough for me. Conan Owen is a Darden graduate, by the way. Conan also adds, so we are going to take the politics out of the BOV by waiting for a different politician to name a BOV who will push a different political agenda. Tongue-in-cheek from Conan Owen right there. The content gift that keeps on giving is this UVA leadership.
And just wait until the new year, baby.
Wait, this is just getting started.
It's going to be fun. I think I'm fed up, but it's going to be
great content.
It's going to be a lot of fun pointing out people's hypocrisy and laughing at the stupidity of a bunch of people that are outraged over a choice that would have been the same no matter how this played out. They just are angry that it wasn't their choice.
As qualified as a candidate you can find for the job, for reasons we've outlined. And the only reason there's outrage is because a Youngkin appointed board voted Beardsley as the 10th president, as opposed to a Spanberger reimagined board doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
It's not the candidate that's the problem. It's not the hire that's the issue. It's the process that's the problem. That's what's causing collateral damage. And crazy, that process that's the problem, it's under the microscope, is going to create a volcano of collateral damage at Thomas Jefferson University. And I'm very curious to see how that volcano of collateral damage spills into Charlottesville and Albemarle County. If it spills into Charlottesville and Albemarle County's economy, Michael Payne, the Charlottesville City Councilor, has called out the University of Virginia with the what's it called when you're so full of yourself that you think you're right? He thinks that he should have had a say in the Beardsley hire, that Charlottesville should have had a say.
Michael Payne does?
Yeah. What's it called that when you believe that he's so punch drunk with jurisdictional entitlement?
Self-important?
Michael Payne's so punch drunk with jurisdictional entitlement, he believes that Charlottesville should have had a say in who the University of Virginia hired as its 10th president.
I don't know why everybody thinks they deserve a say in...
Michael Payne is saying that because the University of Virginia continues to gobble up and purchase real estate locally, taking it off the tax rolls and handcuffing the jurisdiction, city of Charlottesville, because when that property is taken off the tax rolls and purchased by the University of Virginia, that money cannot be allocated through real estate taxes to the jurisdiction and its yearly budget. Michael Payne...
I tend to agree, but how that equates to CVille being allowed a seat at the table is absurd.
Absurd. punch drunk with jurisdictional entitlement. Now, Michael Payne, if you want to put a lower third on screen for him, I think he's being correct with calling out his city manager, Sam Sanders. Michael Payne calling out City Hall and Sam Sanders and city staff, saying shame on Sam Sanders, City Hall, and city staff for for allowing, is a better word, the company Metropolis, funded by billions of dollars in private equity investment. Metropolis now managing the comings and goings of the two key parking garages in downtown Charlottesville, the Water Street Garage and the Market Street Garage. You now have to park and when you park in these two garages, you have to set up an app, and this app can track your license plate, your vehicle make and model, your credit card information, and your actual schedule, your comings and goings in and out of this garage, and how many passengers you have in the car with you. And Councilor Payne says, shame on City Hall, City Manager Sam Sanders, city staff for allowing Metropolis to be the customer management system for these garages.
So I tend to agree with him on most of this, but what I'm unsure about is it's not like the city just voted to hire Metropolis. They had hired SP Plus and spent money to change the system for the two parking garages. I forget.
Metropolis purchased
6 years
the
ago?
previous manager of these two parking garages. And
8
how
years
Metropolis is scaling their business is they're using private equity capital infusion to buy out managers of parking garages. Not the garages themselves, but the companies that manage them. Third-party companies are often hired by jurisdictions to manage these public utilities we call garages. And Metropolis, how it's scaling its company, is using private equity to buy out these third-party managers, these small potato companies, and they're rolling it into this one umbrella called Metropolis. And then as they gain scale, hundreds of garages under their purview in their portfolio, they're able to use all this centralized data to monetize that data through advertising and other ways. It is a terrifying proposition. As someone that trusts nobody besides his wife and Judah, probably the only two people in my life I trust, my wife and Judah, I sincerely mean that, to allow Big Brother to track our data, our license plate, the make and models of our car, our credit card information, and the comings and goings of our traffic, of our travel in and out of garages is a terrifying proposition. This is Big Brother. Michael Payne, right to call out City of Charlottesville. To Judah's point, it's not like City of Charlottesville went and recruited Metropolis to do this, but it's now up to City of Charlottesville to do something about it.
Definitely, especially after spending $350,000 just 6 years ago for new parking management systems with SP Plus parking. And now what? Now we get to do it again?
Well, the biggest
reason? But we're constantly being told that the systems are outdated. Like they just put them in 6 years ago.
The biggest hypocrisy of them all is the elimination of the flock cameras, strategically placed cameras around the city of Charlottesville that are used to track bad guys. The police department tracking bad guys.
Weeks apart from announcing the Metropolis.
Within days of eliminating flock, the Metropolis announcement comes to fruition in the parking garages. And now a counselor, I'm going to give him his flowers. Michael Payne, I called you out on your jurisdictional punch-drunk entitlement with you thinking that you should have a say in who the University of Virginia hires as their 10th president. I think you're punch-drunk with yourself. Stop looking at yourself in the mirror, sir. But you are accurate with calling out City Hall and its immediate need to eliminate this AI technology in the parking garages because it reeks of hypocrisy only days after eliminating Flock, a camera system used to track bad guys around town, with the entire premise or thesis that these Flock cameras can be hacked and the bad guys' information can be leaked to Igor the Russian hacker.
That's not what the problem with Flock is, but
it's a little bit of a color. A little bit of embellishment for the sake of a talk show.
I know, but honestly, let's be honest here. What the problem with Flock is that the city government might not always remain the same, and somewhere down the line, the U.S. government may say, "Hey, we want access to your cameras." Now, if
The real issue is this. The real issue is this. It's a terrifying proposition that our data is being centralized and aggregated and compartmentalized by a handful of global multi-billion-dollar conglomerates.
Yeah.
That's the scary proposition. The centralization of data and our vulnerable data points can lead to civil unrest in a society that is not as safe. That's just a fact. Okay? It is a fact. When your address, your credit card information, the make and model of your car, your license plate, and any other vulnerable data points are in the hands of a company that has countless antitrust lawsuits against it active right now, that's a sign that we should be concerned. That's it in a nutshell. And it's coming at a time where the last thing downtown needs is these kind of headwinds.
and those
Literally the worst time possible.
not to mention those headwinds in the case of people using the parking garages don't really even have anything to do with all this nut stuff that we're talking about. It's just the fact that all of a sudden you're going to need an app. You're going to need to go in, use the app to. What did I read recently? You're not going to be able to leave the garage.
Oh, you can't leave the garage without the app,
Yeah.
without downloading the app. My parents literally have a flip phone that they buy
Yeah.
minutes on, a phone that's a burner phone used by drug dealers, but they are 75-year-old North Carolinians.
Not drug dealers.
They
I
are
promise you.
far from drug dealers. The only drug that they're dealing is my dad's diabetic medicine, which he takes 3 times a day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? They have a phone that cannot download apps. It's a flip phone that they pay by the minute for. If they park in that garage, they literally would not know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
They would probably end up calling me and just stand in that spot throttling traffic in the garage.
Oh yeah, they would.
They wouldn't be able to get out. There would be panic. They would call and say, Jerry, please come help us. That's what would happen. And I know I'm not alone there. Todd Rath watching the program as we wind down the program, his photo on screen. For the life of me, Todd Rath says, I cannot figure out or understand why the government has such overreach on any university. I understand it's a state school, but other states do not have this. I will say this, Todd Rath. Harvard University is going through much of the same. I'll try to answer that question. Why the University of Virginia is under this kind of national microscope is because of the prestige and prominence of the University of Virginia. This would not be happening if UVA was not ranked high in the U.S. News and World Report's rankings or was not getting all these national honors. Would not be called a new Ivy League school. If this was a middle-of-the-road school, this would not happen. Janice Boyce Trevelyan watching the program. What employees ever get to pick their boss? Sickened by what's happening, Janice Boyce Trevelyan. What employees ever get to pick their boss, she says.
Mm-hmm. The inmates running the asylum. I mean, it's amazing the number of people that think they deserve a seat at the table to decide UVA's president. Everybody.
Punch-drunk entitlement.
Everybody.
It's punch-drunk entitlement. It's 2025 and 2026 and this new era of everyone believing they have skin in the game because the news cycle is so ubiquitous and approachable and navigatable. At one time, the news cycle was not nearly as approachable and it was far from ubiquitous. You had to effort following the news cycle through print subscriptions and newspapers that were slung by paper boys at the foot of your driveway. And that's how you got your news. And not everyone could subscribe to the Daily Progress, the Richmond Times-Dispatch, the Washington Post, the Wall Street Journal. But now we have the news at our fingertips. And because the news is so accessible and approachable and on our fingertips, we believe we are stakeholders in the news cycle because we absorb the news cycle in such vigorous capacity. Mm-hmm. And as we absorb the news cycle in such vigorous, ubiquitous capacity, we believe that we are stakeholders in the news themselves. And we think we have influence by doing podcasts like this, or Facebook posts, or tweets, or LinkedIn posts. The reality is, it's the same compartmentalization of power, and it's the same people making the same decisions, and the same people that are driving the narrative, driving the economy, driving the news cycle, driving the ecosystem. We just don't understand it, or maybe worse, we don't want to believe it because of that punch-drunk entitlement. We knew this hire was going to happen. You knew this hire was going to happen. We told you this hire was going to happen. We're hearing folks are going to resign. And when this stuff happens, it's disbelief, and it's fury, and it's anger. When the reality is the writing was on the wall all along. And I'll close with this because I have a 1:45. Hiring search that takes 5 to 6 months. A hiring search done with the kingmaker, air quotes, the kingmaker of university presidents. The firm that hires the most presidents, help hire the most presidents in America is this search firm, this headhunting firm. A board of visitors that was encouraged by the governor, the most powerful man in the Commonwealth, one of them at least, to hire a president, to the point where Youngkin foreshadowed earlier this year, weeks ago, when he chastised Governor-elect Spanberger to stay out of this business. You're not in office yet. Leave the board of visitors alone. This isn't your job. That's foreshadowing that this hire was going to happen. 5 to 6 months, plenty of runway. And I'll close with this. Beardsley was the candidate that the left would have picked and the right would have picked. But because this process picked him and how he was selected, we have fury, and we have a soap opera, and we have drama.
Hypocrisy. Don't forget lots and lots and lots of hypocrisy.
Judah Wickhauer and Jerry Miller on a Monday afternoon in downtown Charlottesville, less than 2 miles away from where Scott Beardsley will be sleeping for what we think will be years to come, but what faculty and students are right now conspiring against. Thank you for joining us.